What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Hold on, let me turn it down a little bit. What is up, Patriots? Just getting my pre-show jam on, get the blood flowing. So what's up? How's everybody doing? Difficult times right now. So we have an amazing news report, citizen news report for you today. We're doing a follow-up on the my previous episode I just did called investigating mainstream media COVID coverage. So we was able to and you can find that episode here.
Thank you for watching KMOV Channel 4. We're located at 1 Memorial Drive, St. Louis, Missouri, 63102. If you know the 6-digit extension.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. During that episode, I'm sorry. Let me do a little introduction before we just jump right into it. I'm your host, Ice, citizen journalist. Took up the cause because I got sick of the New World Order's corruption and had to get off the couch and participate. So right now, a lot going on with the election. Where we stand, it's not over, and it's not going to be over. We support all Patriots working on that front. Figuring out ways I can try to contribute on that front, but also working on this front here, which is the COVID-19, aka the cover story for this global reset going on right now. So we fully support all the Patriots working on the election front right now. So right now we're working on this front here. Also, too, just want to put out, if I've crossed paths with you at some point and end up fighting, just want you to know I still love you. I don't hold grudges like that. I'm focused on one group and one group only, and that is these insane elites that have gone crazy with power. It's pretty obvious now, even though that we have a long way to go as far as winning this information war. Propaganda, psychological, all the above. So, what else? I know I'm missing something. But yeah, that's where we stand. Let's just get into it. Last week, I had an episode where we asked a series of questions. Question number 1 is this. What are your sources and where you're getting your COVID coverage, right? So we was actually able to, and this was the answer we got. Like a website or something?
Well, for Missouri state COVID number and data, we use the Missouri state website. They have a public-facing dashboard.
Okay, so
they send out all of the current data, patients, cases, deaths. That's where we get all of our Missouri state data from. And the same thing goes with Illinois.
Oh, okay. So like that'd be the Secretary of State's office?
No, it's the health and health and senior services.
Oh, okay, and that's okay. I got it. Is that all you go through to advertise your COVID information?
And we have a regional task force that we use their data as well.
A regional task force?
Yes.
Do you know what the name of it is?
Can I ask why you're asking?
I'm just curious.
The regional task force is the St. Louis Pandemic Task Force. led by Dr. Alex Garza.
Okay. Alex Garza, Regional Task Force, St. Louis.
I guess what.
Okay, that's now we was able to cross-check Dan from the newsroom. Oh, and by the way, so we did look into Dan's answers. We tried to figure out who Dan could be, and
Newsroom, this is Dan.
yes, hello. My name is. We came up with this. There is a Dan Greenwald who is a digital content producer for KMOV TV, web producer, stuff. Now we don't know if this is the same Dan that we talked to. We just know that there is a Dan who works at KMOV. Here is also Dan Greenwald's LinkedIn profile. And before we get in, before we start getting into individual bios, I do want to make it clear that ICE Enterprises does not condone cyber stalking or doxing. For example, if somehow I was to find out that Dan Greenwald, did drugs and all kinds of whatever, I don't know, some kind of something that's, I guess, what you call dirt. We're not concerned about that. We don't play. We don't believe in dirty politics. That's not really our style. But we just want to keep the investigation on the public forefront. So, like, I wouldn't release this guy's address or phone number, or his IP address or MAC address and stuff like that. We don't believe in that. Remember, I did an episode on LinkedIn that it could be used for, like China, for example, could be scraping, what they call scraping information. They can design a program that scrapes all LinkedIn information that uses key search words like web producer or web programmer, right? So you got to be careful when you use your real name if you have a LinkedIn profile. On a side note, anyway, just wanted to make that clear. Okay. So any bio investigation we do, we'll keep it on the professional level. Kind of like the golden rule, basically. His experience, pretty good. Got his education, University of Missouri, Columbia, degree, and he's got a bachelor in journalism, broadcast journalism. He graduated. He graduated in 2012. He went in 2008. So that's important because we want to get an idea of his age. Now, assuming he is very successful, I'm sure based on his experience and how they coincide by dates, right? He's very consistent, very responsible person. So I'm pretty sure he graduated high school and then went right into the University of Missouri, Columbia. Most people who go to universities go right after high school. They don't wait like 10 years, or 20 years like me. I'm getting my degree in cybersecurity as right now. I'm also, I got a certificate in full stack web development, and I'm also pursuing other certificates like the A+, Security Plus, Network Plus, etc. That's my forte is IT. So my point is, if he would have graduated high school in 2007, we can guess his age of around 30, give or take a couple of years. That's important because how old was he during 9/11? He would have been about 10 years old. That's important to understand one's psyche, because we do know he works for the mainstream media, and say if he would have been 30 years old or 20 to 30 years old during 9/11, he would have seen the way that mainstream media was a part of the inside job, or at least the corruption to cover up the, we might not be able to attribute who exactly it is, but we definitely know that the narrative isn't correct. We also know that the main reason to be in the Middle East was oil and the petrodollar. And so for the mainstream media to push it as this idea of terrorism and stuff was a way for, Homeland Security or NSA to have more control, over the people, I could say. So that's why it's important to understand their age and their psyche. Now, we don't know this for sure. Like I said, this is just a general idea. Okay, so the first question, we was able to do a little research. Oh, and this is what we found as far as staff, as far as KMOV. Now, these are all the news anchors. Very nice people, they're all pretty well, good looking, articulate, but in a sense, these people are just actors. They're not the ones writing stories. They're just reading it off the teleprompter. So their specialty is, they have nice backgrounds. They all probably got degrees. They're well articulate. They're good looking people, but that's really it. That's all they are. They're the face and the actors. They're basically the actors. Health and Senior Services. Okay, so we did go to the website, right? And, we looked around a little bit, and we're not done with this investigation. This is just part 2. We will scour this website for every detail to get us closer to because this is turning out to be a pyramid. It's all coming up. It's coming from the bottom or the top down, and not necessarily from the president, but some kind of operation going on here. Now, okay, so we did from here. We looked at. Let's see, where is it? Okay, you see this banner here, COVID-19 State Team Member Resources. That is this, right? Note from the commissioner. Dear state team members. So we looked through this and we clicked onto this banner here. What you should know about COVID-19. And we got this. Okay. DHSS and the CDC are responding to an outbreak of respiratory disease caused by a novel, new coronavirus that was first detected in many locations internationally, including the United States. The virus has been named SARS-CoV-2, and the disease it causes has been named coronavirus disease 2019, abbreviated COVID-19. Okay, from this website or from this page, we looked up this electronic COVID-19 case reporting, and we got this electronic COVID-19 case reporting. Now, this is interesting because as we read through this, right, we ran across this, and I'm going to read it to you. The electronic COVID-19 case reporting system is the best way to report a positive COVID-19 case. If you do not have access to the EpiTrax disease surveillance system to enter data, case information submitted to the electronic COVID-19 case reporting system will be reported into the EpiTrax to follow up. So people, basically what's going on is Health and Senior Services is getting a large portion of their data from people reporting COVID-19 cases, right? Also, it was interesting. We wanted to get this EpiTrax disease surveillance system. We looked that up, and that is this right here. Let's see, what is this? Oh, okay, that's the dashboard. We'll come back to that later. This is the Kansas Department of Health and Environment EpiTrax user guide. So we're going to be studying this in great detail and more about it. We're going to figure out. This is just step 2. We're going to come up with the step 3. This is just a follow-up. But we're going to figure out, and we're going to contact Health and Senior Services and figure out where they're getting their information from, right? Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go through my notes here. Okay. So, Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's see. Now, okay. Here is the public health dashboard, which is on this website somewhere. Let's see. But what Dan was talking about, he was talking about a dashboard where they get their data. And this is it right here. Okay, so as you can see, new cases in the past 7 days, 24,570. New deaths, 72. If you look at, new deaths in the past 7 days, 72. 1 point deaths per 100K. That's the rate right there. 1.2 deaths per 100K residents. So that's 100 would be either 10% or 1%, and that's 1.2. So it's way down below 1%. Now, how are they? Now, other independent citizen journalists. One really good is the Cullen Report, I believe, and other good channel is I'm sorry, I think his name is Jason Goodman. That's a good channel. They've been doing, Infowars. A lot of them have figured out a lot of that these cases being reported or these deaths are they're diagnosing it with other things like the person was extremely old age, had other health health problems, like morbidity or obesity and other things too. So basically we believe, we don't know this for sure, but they're overblowing these numbers. This here is Alexander Garza. I couldn't find the St. Louis Regional Task Force anywhere on the internet, but we were able to track down Alexander Garza, MD, Chief Community Health Officer. He's an interesting bio. He's a good, as far as his bio, he's a good guy. He's a colonel in the Army Reserves, 20 years. He's based out of Kansas City, I believe. He's been connected to DHS. Okay, I'll just read it to you. Previously, he served as Assistant Secretary and Chief Medical Officer of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. He legislated Health, Medical, and Biodefense Authority for DHS and played a critical role in protecting the U.S. from threats of terrorism. So that's Colonel Alexander Garza, worked with DHS. This is all I could find for the St. Louis. He works for the St. Louis Metropolitan Pandemic Task Force. So according to Dan, they're getting their data from two sources: the St. Louis Metropolitan Pandemic Task Force and the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. So we're going to have another episode where we're going to follow up on, this is layers. And we started with the first layer. We're going to move to the second layer, right? So, yeah, okay. Let's see what this is. Okay, so let's move on to question 2. why are you just reporting cases and not deaths, right? And here's his answer. If you factor in the deaths and the cases, is there a reason why you just report the number of cases?
We report the data we have. We report deaths. We report number of cases.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. Now, I'd like to give you an example of, a clip from their morning show. And we were able to actually, get a copy of their schedule. Because if you notice here, when you edit clips and you put it on, your 7 o'clock show or whatever, like
We don't have a 7 o'clock.
It's not 7 o'clock?
No.
Oh, okay. I must be mistaken. But you do have a morning show, right?
Yes.
Okay. Like I misspoke and we double checked it. And so here's the copy of the schedule here. Okay. So they do have a news channel from 6 to 10. And by the way, KMOV is owned by CBS. It's actually owned by the Meredith Corporation, which is the mother company of KMOV4, and ultimately owned by CBS. So here's like I said, here's an example of KMOV's news reporting when it comes to the data, which is the answer to question 2 here.
As we come on the air, we're learning about a promising new breakthrough on a second coronavirus vaccine. Plus, American healthcare workers plead for help. We'll show you the struggle inside hospitals as the U.S. adds nearly 1 million new COVID cases in less than a week.
President Trump says he's conceding nothing. Clashes erupt as Mr. Trump still refuses to admit that Joe Biden won the election. Former President Obama tells us what he thinks is tearing our nation apart.
A staggering number of
Okay. Question number 3. Oh, also, before we get into question number 3, we also did report on this back in March. I'd like to play this clip here. Chief of St. Louis Task Force says field hospital considered as virus surges in Missouri. This was just reported November 21st. That is Governor Parsons. I wanted to show you something too. Let's see that I ran into. Okay, yeah, Governor. This is their press releases on the COVID-19 state member resources page. As far as press releases, they do. Okay, Governor Parson announced in Missouri will fully reopen. Enter phase 2 recovery plan on June 16th. Now we did report this when this came out. Now, mainstream media doesn't even report this at all, right? They won't cover certain things like this. They just basically they're just constantly fear mongering what this COVID, the COVID-19, and that has like a domino effect. It starts, at the news, it keeps going until you have stuff like this. I'd like to play this for you. I think this is it. If not, it might be a different one.
And Christelle, there won't be a mandatory mask order in Missouri. There certainly was one in Kansas. We told you about that yesterday. And while the state of emergency that Missouri is under is extended until late March, Governor Mike Parson, as you mentioned, well, he wants to emphasize individual responsibility to control the spread of COVID-19. That is a bit of a bone of contention for many health professionals across the Show Me state who say the masks will control the spread of COVID-19 even in rural areas. We will get through this. We will. we'll find a solution to this virus.
Now you notice how they cut that. I want to go back. First off, when you go to analyze stuff like this, Chief of St. Louis Task Force, which is this guy here, Alexander Garza, says field hospitals considered as virus surges in Missouri. Now you're making when they write a headline like that, you're going to make an assumption that this is fact. There's field hospitals being set up because virus surges. You got to understand considered, okay? And what is the actual definition of a field hospital? Is it a parking lot where they're offering free tests? You see what I'm saying? It's the wording. Field hospital considered as virus surges. Now, they can take I guess a quote. We don't know this for sure unless you've done your own research and cross-check it. I could do the same thing. And matter of fact, I've done it to where I could paint my news channel to point a certain direction. Chief of St. Louis Task Force says field hospitals considered, you got to understand that. And then the definition of field hospital. The way it sounds is like some, war zone field hospital. That's not the case. Any definition of a field hospital, it could be a parking lot with, where they're having a free testing or something. So I wanted you to understand that. Now we'll talk about this video.
Mask order in Missouri. There certainly was one in Kansas. We told you about that yesterday. And while
Listen to it carefully.
that Missouri is under is extended until late March. Governor Mike Parson, as you mentioned.
Okay, late March, right? It's November, and this was posted November 21st by AP Wire. Posted November 21st, 2020. He just said March. Listen to it again.
See, that Missouri is under is extended until late March. Governor Mike Parson, as you mentioned.
There you go.
He wants to.
So they're using some clip like that, combining it with the headline to scare you. Now, I actually went down to the hospitals back in March, and I like to get some real ground coverage, and not just me. Reporters or citizen journalists across the nation in every major city was doing the same thing, and the claims that mainstream media was making wasn't matching up to what the actual on the ground coverage was saying. I'd like to show you a clip here. AM News, RD reporting. We found it. There it is. Emergency and Trauma Center. We found it. I won't put them on camera out of respect. Okay, it's busy. I guess we're not supposed to enter. Uh-oh, cops. Guess we're not supposed to enter? I guess we're not supposed to enter? Okay, so that was me on the ground covering it back in March. All right, so let's get into question 3. Who is your top writers covering the COVID coverage? This is the answer we got here. That's fine. I got another question. Okay, do you have the name of your top writers that cover the COVID-19 coverage?
No, I don't.
You can't give me that, or?
No, I don't have
the writers' names? Okay, that's fine. Okay, now I did try to look in a little bit to see if I can get the editor-in-chief. I couldn't find that. I was able to find the producer. This is her right here, Latanya Yarbrough. She's from Indianapolis originally. She is the producer for KMOV TV. She does work for the Meredith Corporation. So we're going to dig into the Meredith Corporation some more, right? That's all I could find right now, other than, like I said, here's your staff, but this is your on-camera staff. Question number 4, what are your major sponsors? And this is the answer I got here. Can you, okay, and number 4, do you have a list of your major sponsors?
No, I don't.
Is there somewhere I can find that information? Like the networks, like commercials basically? Or is that tied into somewhere else? Is that like the CBS or?
Oh, there are local advertisers and there are national advertisers, but I don't have a list of our, I don't know that information.
Do you know where I can find that information, or is that private? Or do I just?
Let me send you to somebody else. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Hi, you've reached Angela Coburn, the executive assistant here at KMOV. I'm not available at this time. If you would leave your name and number, I'll get back to you just as soon as it's possible. Thank you so much, and as always, have a fantastic day.
And so this is what we was able to find out. This lady here is Angela Coburn. She is the executive assistant for KMOV Channel 4. Now, I tried to get some a list of their sponsors, KMOVs. I couldn't find any as of right now, but I was able to follow this. Now, this comes from Mad as Hell Boycott, CBS advertisement list, right? And CBS is the parent company for KMOV4. And if you notice, you go down here, you have Otezla from Kelgy and Company. It's a plaque psoriasis medicine, okay? PCH money giveaways from Publishers Clearinghouse. Taltz injection, Eli Lilly. That's another pharmaceutical. Ford Motor Company, Principal Financial Services, Chantix, smoking, Pfizer. See that? Pfizer. Type 2 diabetes pills, AstraZeneca, nasal spray, another pharmaceutical, GSK, Zac Xarelto, blood thinner, Janssen, another pharmaceutical, Prevagen, memory capsules, it's Quincy Bioscience, another pharmaceutical, Humira, rheumatoid arthritis medicine, AbbVie Inc., another pharmaceutical, Neulasta from a company called AMGN, anti-infectious drug, another pharmaceutical, Repatha, injection to reduce LDA, another pharmaceutical, Vraylar, another pharmaceutical. Now, granted, one thing we do need to consider is that the audience for old school terrestrial television is an older crowd. And, you could make the argument that they are selling to their demography, which would be an older crowd. But, that's, we're on the case is what we're trying to say. Okay, so let's see what else we need to cover. I do want to show you, I've created a flow chart, and I like to show you it here. Okay, now this is showing you where we're at in our investigation as of right now. Now we're going to lead into other investigations. We're going to follow up, and we're going to try to get a hold of Alexander Garza, where he's getting his information from. The St. Louis Metropolitan Task Force, where they're getting their information. Health and Senior Services, where they're getting their COVID information. Because step one was where's mainstream media getting their information. Now we found it. Okay. Now we got to go to step two, and where are they getting their information. And we're going to keep going down this investigation to figure out how this is getting reported. Because if you can just call in, you could flood the cases. I could probably call in, and maybe we should do an experiment and report that I caught COVID, right? Like this dashboard here, there's probably some number where you can report like, oh, be a good citizen, help us track COVID, call in. And, if this is some kind of operation and you wanted to pad the numbers to, blow the numbers up, you could falsely call in, right? We don't know that, but we're tracking that down. Okay, I think that's it. Let me double check, make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, lastly, what you can do if you want to participate in this information warfare, psychological, cyber that we're in. Okay, so now I noticed there's a lot of Q people who took the oath and all that. Listen, I'm not saying don't check the QAnon post or whatever. If you want to do that, fine. But Q is asking you to get active and not just sit back and enjoy the show. You need to get active. And what you can do to be active, you took the oath. That's good on Twitter. You saw a whole bunch of that. That was step one. Step two is what we're looking for is graphics designers, cybersecurity, IT individuals, audio, video editing. What else? Social media marketing. Okay. You don't have to be skilled. I wasn't when I first started, and I'm learning a little bit. Okay. Another skill, Photoshop. And basically picture editing. Okay. Start learning these fields. E-commerce. We're gonna need that. We need e-commerce. Start making connections. Start organizing. Like events to protest. Start getting your network going. Okay. We can create a tier system of this, but we need reporters. Okay. We need field reporters. And we need investigators. Okay. Start picking up, pick a piece and start investigating it. There's a giant puzzle. Just pick up one of the pieces and start investigating that, and then report your information to the upper tiers. Like alternative media channels, which we're going to get a list of that. We're going to get we're going to form a whole army. Now we do have plans in the motion if President Trump doesn't get elected, which we are completely positive he is going to get reelected. But if he doesn't, we are creating a backup plan. Just know that in the background. I don't even want to really entertain that thought yet. We're kind of in limbo stage. I'm very busy too with work and school. I am in school. So, my day is pretty much full. I just want you to know that I'm spending all my time either working, going to school, and I'm out of time. I'm either educating myself, like learning this stuff to be able to put out a report for you, and also, designing videos to combat the information warfare, and also active, flyers, banners, stuff like that. And after all that, trying to get a piece of ass on the side. So, I'm your host, Ice. All patriots, stay in the fight. This shit is not motherfucking over. Okay, stay in the fight. I guess that's it, y'all. Take care. I'll talk to you later.